Cana. That is exactly right. You get a gold star, Francis. Well done. So the wedding in Cana is one of the first miracles in the Gospel of John. And for those of you who don't know the story, Jesus and his mother Mary have gone to a wedding in Cana, and his disciples there as well, and they're all enjoying themselves. And then the bridegroom, the party has run out of wine. Aww. Shock, horror, disgusting behaviour. And Mary, the mother of Jesus, says to Jesus, they've run out of wine. And in a very, what I can only describe as a bitchy way, really, Mary says, kind of, oi, they've run out of wine, and Jesus says, what has that got to do with me? My time has not yet come. And I think, ooh, that's a bit rebuked there. But Mary says to the chief person who's organising all the stuff, she says, do whatever he tells you to do. And then all of a sudden, Jesus goes and has a look, and he sees these jars that you can see on the screen, right here. And these are the jars that they would have used for cleaning and for cleansing themselves. There were 6 jars, and Jesus says, fill these jars up with water. So the servants fill the jars up with water, and then he says, take a cup of that and take it to the person who's in charge of the feast. So the person takes the cup, and they take it to the person in charge of the feast, and they drink this water, which is miraculously turned into wine. And he says, wow, this is amazing. And what this person then does is he goes to the bridegroom and he says to the bridegroom, I'm paraphrasing, along the words of, wow, this wine's amazing. Normally, the bridegroom will give the good wine first, and then when everybody's really, really drunk, they'll serve the bad wine. But you have saved the best wine till last. Thank you very much. So I think Mary at this point is sat with a very smug grin on her face. And Jesus has done what is renowned to be his first miracle. Now, in ordinary circumstances, in a wedding that we go to now, the bridegroom will have realised that they've run out of wine, and they'll just go to Tesco and they'll buy some more, and everything will be okay. But in this time, it would have been a very, very big embarrassment for the bridegroom to have run out of wine, and to have invited all these people and then not actually be able to give them what they asked for. So this is quite a big deal. And I'm going to talk about this as one of Jesus' signs, which we're going to come on to in a minute. What I would like to do, just to humour me, in your head, I'd like you to pick a number between 1 and 10. Okay? Have you got that number? This isn't a magic show.
Feels like one.
I know. Can you put your hand in the air if you picked 7? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 people out of the lot of you picked 7. I'm not going to go through all of the other ones. But supposedly, if you ask a group of people to pick between 1 and 10, the majority of them will pick number 7. I'm not entirely sure why that is. But there is some mathematical reasons as to why people would pick 7. Okay? Now 7 is an important number in the story, because in the Gospel of John, he describes Jesus as performing 7 miracles, and this is the first one of those 7. And these are 7 signs that Jesus is the Son of God. So the signs are, the first one is the water into wine story. Then we've got the healing the nobleman's son. We have healing a paralytic. We have the feeding of the 5,000. Walking on water. The healing of the blind man. And raising Lazarus from the dead. So those are the 7 miracles or 7 signs in the Gospel of John that talks about how Jesus performs them and why he does these things. There is some dispute that actually there is an 8th one, and that's his resurrection, but we're talking about the ones before he dies. Also, in John, there are 7 I am statements, where Jesus proclaims, I am whatever. So he proclaims that I am the bread of life. He proclaims, I am the light of the world. I am the door. I am the good shepherd. I am the resurrection and the life. I am the way, the truth and the life. And I am the true vine. So there's 7 signs that Jesus is the Son of God. There's 7 statements that he makes that would say that he is the Son of God. Has anybody spotted a common theme yet? 7! Thank you. Thank you. I knew somebody would do, for those of you online, somebody would do the voice from Strictly, and Geraint did not disappoint us. Okay. So, the numerical significance of 7 is quite large. In the Bible, 7 comes up a number of times. It's supposedly God's number. People may say 777 is God's number, but 7 is God's number. 7 is meant to be a lucky number. Probably no coincidence that there are 7 days in the week, that God made the earth in 6 days, according to Genesis, whether you believe that literally or whether it's a poem, made it in 6 days, and then he rested on the 7th day. There are 7 colours in the rainbow. Not in our rainbow. There are 6 in our rainbow, but there are 7 colours in the rainbow. There are 7 continents in our world. There are 7 ancient wonders of the world. There are 7 notes in the musical scale, certainly in the Western world. And also, just for those who didn't know, the brain can apparently recognise, if you put a load of objects out on a tray, the brain can recognise 7 objects automatically. But if you put any more than 7, you have to count them to know how many there are there. And apparently the brain works better if the electrical impulses branch off 7 times. So 7 is quite significant in a number of ways. And yes, it's a prime number and all of those things as well. 7 is meant to symbolise completion or perfection. Obviously, apart from me, who else thinks they are completely perfect? I don't know why you're laughing. We normally say that the only person who is perfect is God. So I wonder what the significance is, or why there's such a big significance on the number 7, or whether it's just that because it crops up so much, it's become more significant. The number 12 also crops up quite a lot of times as well, but 7 is certainly a number that crops up many, many times throughout the natural world, mathematically, which I'm not going to go into today because that's just way above where we need to be, and also in the Bible. So we're going to have a little discussion about those 3 things. The discussion questions for today are: why did Jesus choose this moment for his first miracle? Why did he choose this wedding in Cana to decide to turn the water into wine and to show everybody what a great person he was? The second question is, which is your favourite of the 7 miracles in John? And if we need to get some verses and things like that, we can do that so that you can read through them. Why do you think the number 7 is significant? And then the last one, which I like, although I did write a question, but do you have a number that is significant to you and why? So some of you will automatically, if I ask you what your lucky number is, you'll give me an answer straight away. And I can see a few nods out there, yes. But why is it significant? Why is it your lucky number? Is there a reason for it? I've got 2 because I'm greedy. So those are the questions that I'd like you to discuss. And obviously, as part of the gathering, we go off in tangents completely. We often talk about things that aren't up on the board, and that's absolutely fine. Just make sure that you're discussing things in a respectful way. So we're going to say goodbye to the people online. Hopefully you have this opportunity to look at these questions and maybe discuss them with someone else, and maybe put some comments in the chat if you want to. But other than that, we're going to say goodbye, God bless, and we'll see you next week.